Hi there, today we're going to talk about a question that I get a lot. How long will it actually take to start a clothing brand? I mean, how long will it take from idea to actually be selling your products? When starting a clothing brand, of course there are several things you need to do. The first thing would be, of course, to set your mind on what kind of products do you want to do, what's your design. And depending on how fast you work, it's difficult to say how long will it actually take you to design your collection. But what I can tell you about is how long it will take you from your final designs till you will actually get your products and will be able to sell in the stores. So let's say you designed your collection, let's say you found the perfect factory, let's say everything is set up and you're ready to go. So what you're doing now is you're sending your designs to the factory. When the factory receives your design files, they will start looking at it, they will figure out what you want to do. And that might take them a week or 2 weeks before they actually know what you want to do. There might be lots of phone calls or emails. Once they've done that, they will start sourcing fabrics, open your labels and trim. And that might take them another 2 weeks, 3 weeks before they have everything ready. So already there you're about a month from you delivered your designs. Then you start getting your protos, your fits, labels, prints to approve. Lots of different things that you can see like the first step of your designs. Once you approved all these things, and once you approve the fabrics, they will order the fabric from the fabric supplier in the quantities that you need for your samples. That might take them another 3-4 weeks to get the fabrics, maybe 6 weeks or 8 weeks, but let's say it takes 4 weeks. That you're already 2 months from you delivered your designs now. Once the factory have everything, they would need, let's say, 2 weeks, 3 weeks to put everything together. Maybe 4 weeks. So that means that from you deliver your designs till you get your actual samples will be around 3 months. You can be faster, sometimes 2 months if you're using stock fabrics, they don't need to develop your fabrics, and there's not a lot of difficult things in your collection. But I would say to get a perfect sample range and have time to correct the fits, correct everything, would take around 3 months. After those 3 months you will get your samples and you're ready to go to the stores and sell your product. If you take the classic approach, you will go drive around to different stores, show them your products, or go to a trade show. And people will buy your brand. Then you'll place an order at the factory. And an order will take them around, let's say, 3 months again. They need to do the same things again. They need to order the fabric, but now it's a bigger quantity because you need, of course, a bigger amount of fabric for your entire production and not just your samples. So it'll take them maybe, again, 6-8 weeks to get the fabric home, and then they can start producing. But it will take them more time now to do all your products because you have more products. So I would say 3 months from you place your order till you actually get your product ready. Because there are several steps on the way. There are size sets you need to see. You need to see pre-production samples. Lots of things to make sure that your product will look exactly like you want it to be when it comes out of production. So 3 months. That means that you will end up with around a timeline of 6 months from you deliver your designs till you get your actual final production. That is, of course, if you take the traditional way and you go and visit stores. You can also, once you send your designs right away, send the order right away. So you send your designs and tell them from the start, I want 200 of this, 200 of this, 200 of that. That means that they can start ordering the right fabric, the right amounts from the start. And that will shorten your thing to around maybe 3 months in total. So you can save a lot of time on that account. In terms of timeline and the time you need to do your designs and your production and your samples, of course you can find factories that are doing your samples very fast. You can find factories that maybe do them in 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, depending on their capacity at the time. But I would say most good factories that are working with good brands, big solid brands, they need time to do samples and they need time to do production. So give them time and make sure that everything is running smoothly, and don't push them too much because they will make mistakes. So let's say we take these 6 months we talked about and look at your workload during the time. Of course there's going to be a lot of work prior to your delivery of the design, prior to when you finish your designs. It can take you 6 months, a year. Some designers spend several years designing their collection. But once you finish it and once you send it to the factory, there will be a lot of work the first 2 weeks. You'll spend lots of time on the phone, emailing, how is this, how is that, can I use this fabric, or what is the size of the print? Lots of different things to make sure that they know exactly what they're doing. But then after these 14 days, there's not going to be that much work, to be honest, because you're waiting for things to be approved. You're waiting for the factory to finish things, print test or fabric development. So they will send you these things once they finish. So you'll be back home, actually just waiting every day for a package to arrive, but you can't do much. I mean, you can work on your Instagram or your Facebook or other things, but you can't really work on anything related to production. So you'll have to wait. And once you get these things in, you'll see more and more things coming. You approve more and more things. And once you approved everything, again, they need time to do the samples. So here you can't do much as well. So in these 6 months, the first 14 days is a lot of work. Then there's going to be a middle period where you're not working that much. Of course, you need to work a bit, but not that much. And then there are the sales. The sales will be a lot of work. And before the sales, of course, you can research, you can do a marketing, but you can also figure out what kind of stores you want to approach. But in the sales period, you need to be prepared, and it's a lot of work. Then there's going to be a period again where you're not doing that much. Here you're going to wait for the products. And then at the end, of course, when you receive your product, you need to pack your products, you need to ship your products, you need to invoice the products. And then again, everything starts over and there's a lot of work again. If you look at the entire phase, from start to finish, there will be lots of workloads, lots of times where you need to work a lot. And there will be times where you need to wait. So of course I can't recommend like you need to quit your job or you don't need to quit your job. But I would say, if you have a lot of money and you just want to do this, maybe quit your job and start working on it. But for most of us, I would say that it makes sense to make some money on the way, because there will be lots of time where you can work and where you're just waiting. Because remember, from your start 6 months earlier, you deliver your designs and then it takes 6 months for your products to arrive. And you can't invoice anyone until 6 months. So you're not getting any money. So unless you have a lot of money, spend your time getting some money, because you need to pay for your production at the end. And you don't want to start out setting up a lot of things and then don't have the money to pay for it at the end. So my advice is to make a timeline. Take a calendar, put in some dates. When are you delivering your designs? When does the factory promise the samples? When do you expect your sales period to be? Make a timeline. Figure out what are the times you need to work a lot and what are the times you don't need to work a lot. And then maybe get a job in the meantime, or at least just figure out what can you do in the meantime. Because I see this a lot actually. People quit their jobs, then they start doing this, and believe me, I think people should follow their dream. It's not like that, but I would say sometimes it takes longer than expected. Sometimes you're not working with the right factory. Imagine you deliver your designs and then suddenly you figure out that it was not the right factory, and you're set back 3 months or maybe 6 months. There can be so many things on the way that will give you problems. So of course, before you start, do a lot of research, but be prepared. Do a timeline. Figure out what can you actually afford, because the money you need and your cash flow will be a major thing in this, because you need money. You need money for products. You need to buy everything before you can sell everything.